Beginning next year and for the following 8 years, the military is slated to lose $55 billion of funding per year. Some in Congress argue that these defense cuts will result in massive job losses and put our national security at risk. Hello everyone and welcome to COMCAST Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trenum and we're here on location in the U.S. Capitol, and I'm joined by Congressman Doug Lamborn, Republican from Colorado. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Robert.
So I believe the president would say, look, the reason why we have to cut defense spending is two reasons. Number one, we must get our budget deficit under control. And also number two, there's a lot of programs that we just simply don't need. Your response?
I agree with the president that we do need to get our budget under control. The one thing that we should not do, though, to get there is to make across-the-board cuts or sequestration of money in the defense budget for two reasons. It's already taken the brunt of defense of budget cuts already under Barack Obama. It's 19% of the budget, but it's taken 50% of all cuts, so it's been disproportionate. Secondly, the way this would be done, Robert, is it would be across the board. It would not prioritize. You know, some programs are not as critical as others. Navy SEAL teams, I think those are pretty critical, but why cut those at the same time as we're cutting the bands or something else that maybe is less of a priority?
And what is your response when the administration says, and also the Secretary of Defense says, there are some programs, Congressman, we simply do not need, nor do we want?
I would go back to what I said earlier. Defense has taken 50% of all cuts under Barack Obama, and it's only 19% of the budget. Let's look at other programs. Republicans in the House, for instance, sent a bill to the Senate that they've only been sitting on, unfortunately, that would take those same amount of dollars from 6 other programs and spare defense because it's already had disproportionate cuts.
Congressman, with the winding down of the two wars in Afghanistan and also in Iraq, do you believe that there's going to be significant savings once the bills, if you will, start coming in and they're paid off?
There will be some savings, but at the same time, we do need to rebuild the equipment. I mean, a lot of it was destroyed or damaged.
Used pretty heavily?
Yeah, very much out of date, well, out of service.
Sure.
So we have to rebuild our stock. And we do live in a dangerous world. Under sequestration, we would go back to the Army as it was before World War II. We'd go back to the Navy as it was in 1916 before World War I, and the lowest forces that the Air Force has ever had in its history. And yet we live in a dangerous world. Before those world wars, you didn't know what was coming around the corner. We don't know what's in the future. Defense is like an insurance policy for our country.
So your argument is that we should always be prepared because you never know if, in fact, another 9/11 may happen?
Absolutely.
Or Pearl Harbor or something like that?
Yeah, that, and it's a deterrent effect. There are some bad actors out there that don't want good for our country. They wish us harm. And yet, if we're strong, we'll keep them at bay. Ronald Reagan said, peace through strength. Now, some people think, well, strength is provocative. I disagree. It is an insurance policy.
So what do you think, Congressman, is the solution if, in fact, President Obama wins a second term? How do you kind of mitigate the two different philosophies between the Republican philosophy and the Democratic philosophy?
What he really wants out of all is to raise taxes. And I think that that's unacceptable, especially in a poor economy. I'm not sure it's good at any time, but especially in a poor economy, because most of the taxes he wants to raise are going to hit small business. It's not the movie star who's making $20 million a year. It would hit the dry cleaner on the corner who's got 3 employees. And that's what I don't want. We need that for the economy. We should balance the budget by lowering spending. Now that's the divide here in Washington. Do we raise taxes? Do we lower spending? I think when we're borrowing 40% of our federal budget, we have to cut our spending.
Congressman, of course, to be determined. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time.
Good to talk with you, Robert.
And of course, thank you for joining us for this edition of COMCAST Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trenum. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time.